Hi, good afternoon. I cannot hear you.
Okay, hi.
Yeah, hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. How are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Have a good day?
Yes, I had a day off today, so we had a long weekend.
Nice.
So that was good.
Yeah, that's always
Yeah.
enjoyable.
Yes.
Um, yeah, for this interview, it's for a course called Professional Skills that I have at school. We have to build connections with people around the world, and one of the activities is to interview someone that is in a position of interest of us, and we would like to get more to know that position. So, firstly, I would like to ask if you could introduce yourself and your job, and basically what a day in your life looks like, more or less.
Okay.
Oh,
So yeah,
firstly, is
you
it
know my
okay?
name. So
Is it okay
sorry.
if I record the conversation? Is that okay?
That's fine.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I'm Carolyne Aluoch. So I work at the embassy in Nairobi for the last 11 years or so. I started as a bookkeeper. So bookkeeper is just payments, processing payments, invoices, bank statements, just a normal bookkeeping. And then the embassy changed its processes, and then my job changed a little bit, so I still did finance and a bit of admin work and some personnel work as well. So that's what my day-to-day job entails. So because the embassy is mostly centralized in The Hague, where the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is, so we have systems where we make our payments from. So it's a portal. We download invoices there. First of all, we process invoices by getting them approved in the mission, and then they are sent to The Hague using a self-service portal, and then payments are made from there. And same as that, I also do the payroll for the staff salaries for the local staff. So that's a monthly, maybe 1 week in a month to prepare and process it. But the payments is the beauty is I plan my day, so I know what things need attention in terms of deadline. But payments is more or less a daily thing. So you receive an invoice from a supplier. Most of the time, if it's a contract-based invoice, then I have a contract to check if the prices are the same. If it's a one-off job, then I have to check with a colleague that ordered the job that it has a quotation, and the quotation was approved, and the prices are the same. So it's more or less finance, admin, so that not really the tough accounting, because most of it is done in The Hague.
Yeah.
So maybe I can call it financial support. Yeah.
Yeah. So you approve a lot of transactions, more or less, or you send it.
Yes, and then now, yeah. So we had in the past we did mostly manual things, but of course times changed. We do a lot of things digitally, but of course before you do it digitally, you have to process scan documents. So I scan documents. So if I have invoices in a week, I put them in a flash disk. I have to put a digital stamp, and then I send the documents to the next person to approve. So it is the next step. So when the next approver has put their stamp, which is a different approval stamp, then I can load it to the system for payment.
Probably takes a lot of time if it goes from person to person.
Takes a lot of time, especially the scanning, because then sometimes you have to scan and add some extra documents, and then sometimes the document is more than 10 MB. That's not accepted in the system, so you have to try and compress it. So it's a lot of preparation before an invoice is eventually paid.
Yeah. I was wondering, could you explain a little bit about your background as well, and how you got to your position, more or less?
So when I applied for the position at the embassy, I saw a vacancy. I used to work at a hotel. So the hotel accounting is really different because that's a lot of financial work. So I worked as an internal auditor. That was straight from university, where I did a bachelor's in business administration in accounting. Then I did an internal audit job. Then I did accounts payable. So accounts payable is dealing with the suppliers only, so paying invoices, processing invoices and stuff like that. Then I went to another department called accounts receivable. So that's the opposite. So that's where we receive money from those who owe the hotel money. And there also I'd worked for maybe 8-9 years. And then I thought, okay, maybe it's time to do something different. Then I got this job at the embassy in 2010. Then a few years later, I decided, okay, let me do my MBA also in finance, just for my personal growth, because I don't use much of that knowledge. No, the knowledge is okay, but not much of the real work experience. I don't use what I studied in finance. Finance is wide, but I'm happy that I do also personnel work, staff contracts, payroll, salaries, taxes. Yeah, so it's dynamic at the embassy, different things. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you like your change now, right? Or
No, I like it because it gives a different dynamic. I know people think accountants are really boring, rigid, and then I like that my job is not really routine. So there's some days, there's some weeks in a month that are busier than the rest. So easy to find a balance.
Yeah, for sure. And you said that you did your MBA on the side. Are there any future career goals that you would like to achieve, or other steps that you want to undertake?
Yeah, so I thought with an MBA in finance, but okay, the Kenyan market is also really flooded with graduates, people who have studied a lot, finance, and also done the extra, the professional accounting things. So the market is competitive. Maybe also the reason why I stay at my current job, because I get a good salary, not too stressful. I know people who did the same course as me, some of them in stressful environments, some of them no jobs yet. So I haven't been actively looking to change. But sometime this year when I thought, okay, maybe now I start looking, not really looking. If something comes my way, I try and apply and see. And then earlier in the year, I got information again from the office that they will make my job even better. So sort of like a promotion. It's still ongoing, to be the deputy operational manager. So that's what I'm working on now, and that also now includes consular work.
Oh.
That will slowly come, maybe in the new year. So I thought, okay, if that comes and it's also interesting, then also a reason to just hang on, because the job is changing again, or some elements are being added to it. So
yeah, I think a lot of people have that. They look for change after a few years. They like their field, but they want to explore other areas in that field, more or less. Yeah, nice.
True. And then the embassy is also different in the sense that you don't stay with the same boss all your life. So they keep coming and going. So also that creates a different environment all the time.
Yeah, you have to adapt.
When you're really fed up and tired, and then it's time for the boss to change again. They come with a different way and style of working, and then the days just
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to look for a new job. A new boss is coming,
exactly.
so yeah,
exactly. Because a new job is coming every 3 years in the sense of change of management and change of boss and change of work. Yeah.
Yeah, as you said, you have some people that you studied with. Do you keep in contact with them, or about potential job opportunities?
Yes, and yeah. So we have an alumni group, of course. So that's just the more informal part of just you find you're in a group, maybe a WhatsApp group or a university Facebook group, and then things are posted there. So that's really the bigger group. But of course, after university, you have a few people that you click with, a group of people that stay in touch. So those are there.
Yeah.
Checking. Do you know if you can? I mean, do you have any links to any jobs coming up, or do you see any prospects that you can share? So yeah, you keep some networks.
Yeah. Do you think that's important for people to keep their networks open and to communicate those kind of things?
It is because I can more or less say that I got the embassy job because a friend of mine, not necessarily from college, or from high school, but a friend, an acquaintance, sent me the job opening. So it's good to be in contact or in network with the right people, because if I didn't know them, they would have sent it to somebody else that they knew. So
yeah, for sure.
Contact is important. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've read on your profile on LinkedIn that you you are a highly successful background in achieving work deadlines and safeguarding company resources. Do you think what makes a successful person in the ability to achieve those deadlines and work efficiently? What do you think?
My number one goal in I think in everything. So it doesn't mean only an accountant, but you have to have integrity. Integrity is key, because when you have integrity, then you know that time, and not only time, all the resources that you're given in your workplace have to be guarded. So if it's time, if it's money, if it's any other resources that I haven't mentioned, human resources, if you're honest and you have integrity, and then I think you perform better. If you love your job, if you're passionate about it, I think you become successful and efficient. There's some people who are in employment for the salary. I know quite a number of them. Just on a normal day, they do work for 1 hour. The rest of the time, they're just walking around. They're bored. But if you're passionate about your job, and sometimes you find this space in your job, you can always ask, how can I feel in my day? How can I have a more fulfilling day? Don't go to work to just tick the box, wait for the end of the month. It's not interesting.
No, for sure.
I find that I'm able to highlight or to report something that I find is not going according to the norm standards of the embassy, what we stand for, something that I pay things a lot. I highlight things all the time. Why is the quotation? Why is this guy not VAT compliant? Where are the other quotations to compare? So I find it's my own responsibility. I would say that, okay, the invoice was approved by the boss, so that's final. But sometimes I also tell the boss, I think this is not right. Maybe this time we'll check it. Let's find a better way of dealing with suppliers. Let's look at our suppliers. We are an embassy, we are VAT exempt, but we can also just say that, VAT exemption is a lot of work. So if this supplier doesn't have, let's not bother. But I bother. I bother them. I tell them there's so many suppliers out there. They are compliant. If you want to work with us, be compliant. So let's have standards. In that way, I think there's efficiency. You don't apply some rules for other people, and yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And what is your experience with working with people who are less efficient than you in a team, or yeah?
Yeah, it's upsetting. I know. The beauty is, as I said, what I do currently is it's in my own space. So I just have so it's only my boss that maybe approves, or I can go to for approvals or for advice. But I also supervise a group of 3 drivers. So at least I have people that I take care of, and those ones I can tell off. I can call in and say this is not right, or ask a few questions. Most of the time I do, and I find that asking questions or just inquiring about things that are not clear can also be done in a way to make other people better. Some people they don't know any other way, so it's helping each other. But as you say, there are some people who in the chain that are not efficient, not effective. So of course, if that affects your own job, because it's a process that has to, like if I'm to get invoices that are incomplete, then I have to find out what's wrong with this. Then it makes my work difficult.
Yeah.
So the person who's doing it should do it right from the beginning, so that the next step, which is my step, is easier.
Yeah, for sure.
Or maybe occasionally, once in a while, you say, okay, I'll try. I tell them, okay, I've done it like this because I have to do it now. It's urgent. But the next one I will not accept. So you create that. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you take it easier on people that you only just know as well, or do you are you just as hard on everyone, more or less?
No, I think the beauty is I know I'm a good person when it comes to interpersonal relationships. So when it comes to just chatting and having just out of work talk and experiences, I'm that person. But I think when it comes to serious things, also we can also be serious without necessarily being rude or making the other person uncomfortable. So I think with that space, I'm able to tell anyone.
Yeah, for sure. I think especially in the team, it's important to have respect for each other as well. Especially as the boss, you gotta keep people in their worth. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I will move on to the next question. Obviously, a lot of companies in the Netherlands have been struggling with the COVID-19 pandemic, with losses of revenue and everything. But how has the COVID-19 pandemic influenced your job or your day-to-day business?
Activities, okay. So I'll start with that answer in two parts. Last year, COVID was unknown, was a mystery, was unresearched. People were anxious. So that was a different year. I mean, work from home as much as you can. Not possible for some people. Like me, I need the scanner. I need to scan things to my email. I need to scan things to my flash disk. I don't have a scanner at home. So that means that on the days I worked from home, I would try and find something else that doesn't require that. But then it postpones my plan for the day to a day that I'm in the office. So I think that also made my office days very busy, because then I try and scan as much as possible and I'm running around, as opposed to when I was in the office every day. Then I could just plan the week. Then now I have to plan day by day. That was difficult. It was we were anxious. You work with masks. I mean, sanitize all the time. Don't move near me. Don't borrow my pen. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So, and also people who got COVID, of course, I mean, they know the stigma was still there then. Then the office, I'm glad they made very good COVID protocols that were followed in the office, and I'm glad that very few people got COVID, at least the colleagues. And that was also because the management made sure that the COVID protocols were well communicated, they were well implemented. And the beauty again is when the vaccines were available, the employer through the ministry made sure everyone in the office who was willing to get vaccinated got vaccinated. Then at that point, people started feeling comfortable. And then at least now you think, okay, at least I'm vaccinated. If I get COVID, it's not as bad as when I wasn't. And then this year became really different, because then in Kenya, specifically, the COVID wasn't so bad, at least from what we see. We only had a curfew in the evenings, and then that has now passed. We don't have a curfew anymore. People are getting vaccinated. At least our office, we are 100% vaccinated. So this year, if I compare to last year when the COVID started, we are better off. People know what to do. It's a personal responsibility. Wear your mask. If you are obligated, we were obligated to wear the masks in the office, at least when you're walking around. When you're sitting on your desk, is fine. But slowly by slowly, we get to get used to the situation.
Yeah, are those requirements still at hand now, or are they lifted at work at least?
So I think as soon as the Kenyan government 2 months ago lifted the curfew, which was the main thing that has been there for a year plus, since last year March, and then we get daily updates on the COVID positivity rate. It's really gone down in Kenya the last 3 or 4 months. Our embassy did not oblige you to wear your mask anymore, because we are not only because of the government directive, but also because we are vaccinated fully in the office. But you're not obligated, but also if you want to wear, you're still allowed to wear. Because most people thought, at least in the office, it was too much. The masks, the mask wearing was too much. You blocked the whole time. But now I can go to pick my tea without wearing my mask. Sometimes most people still remember to wear them, because that's what we have done for a year. So far so good.
Yeah, it's one less worry.
Yep.
Yeah, I was wondering, do budget cuts from the Dutch government have an influence on your job capability, or is that not much?
I would say not much, because what I know is for the operational management side where my department is, they wouldn't say, okay, now we have reduced your salaries, let's not pay this contractor because we don't have money. So I think the budget cuts affects the development aid, the aid department, where maybe budget cuts affects projects that have been planned for, or assistance to some groups. That affects those people mostly. I don't think it has happened in the past, because then if you're like maybe employed as a policy officer dealing with political, trade, not much, maybe strategic partnerships, and then they say, okay, the funding for this type of projects is done, and then of course that would have an impact on the employee who's doing that job. But I'm happy to say that it hasn't happened in the embassy in many years, like people made redundant because of budget cuts, or operations are grounded because there's no budget for something. So not doesn't affect us directly much at this point.
Yeah, luckily. Are there any big projects coming up for you, or
Yeah.
not yet?
So what happened is the embassy bought a piece of land, so trying to build its own chancery, another location, because now we are in a rented building space that most people feel is not so safe, not so private, not so secure for an embassy. But looks like that's really a big project that The Hague must approve. They approved the purchase of the land, but when there's a housing project in October, when they assess the location again, they're not sure if that's the right location. So it's a lot of back and forth. But of course, once that is approved and a new location or the same location is settled for, then that's a big project, because building is not easy. Building an embassy especially, because you have to consider a lot of things, security, space, and approvals with the government. But yeah, so I think in the coming years, that's something that will affect, especially my department, because that's where the housing colleagues also are.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's gonna be a lot of work for you as well. Busy period,
it's
probably.
A lot of work. Yeah, payment of licenses, and then we have contractors. Yeah, so that will be something.
Yeah, I would like to thank you for taking the time and answering some of my questions.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Oh, you're most welcome. That's it?
Yeah, it's 25 minutes gone, just like that.
Talking. Great,
yeah.
Great. It was my pleasure to assist.
Thank you so much.
What course are you taking?
International business. Yes, and in the last year we can choose if we want to do marketing or finance. Yeah, so we get to make that choice still. And then probably do a master after deep diving into the topic. Yeah.
That would be nice. Try do masters immediately when you're still fresh, because I did it many years after my undergraduate. It's not easy, and then you have to do it part time, and you're working. It's a bit straining.
Yeah.
You have to do assignments. You have to go to class. You have to go to work.
Yeah, especially if you have work, it's probably a lot more difficult.
A lot more difficult, because then at what point do you really close work and say, now I have to go because there's traffic? I have to leave and start going to school, and then it's maybe really different locations.
Yeah.
It's stressful.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thank you again. I appreciate it a lot.
No problem.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day, and
Thank
good luck with your studies.
Thank you. Good luck. Bye-bye.